Hi, good morning all of you. Today we are going to discuss the same chapter, real numbers, which we discussed the previous class. And we were discussing fundamental theorem of arithmetic mainly in that class, isn't it? Today we are going to discuss more about irrational numbers. If you give some examples for irrational numbers, root 2, root 3, root 5, root 7, root 6, these all are irrational numbers. And pi is another irrational number. So we know, and the decimal form of irrational number also you know, which are non-terminating, non-repeating, non-recurring. And now we are going to discuss one small theorem. See, one prime number p is given and a square number a square is given. Suppose or if p divides a square, and it's sure that, it's clear that p divides a also. What the theorem says? If p divides, p is a prime number, one prime number divides a square number. If that condition is okay, means p is divides a square number a square, then it is sure that p is divides a. Let us check with one example. 2 divides one square number, we can take 36. 36 is 6 square. So 2 divides 6 square. What is meant by divides? 36 divided by 2. We will get a number without remainder, exactly divisible by 2. So that's why we are telling 2 divides 36. So 2 divides 36. Then what the theorem says? The theorem says then 2 divides 6. So this theorem is true for every p and every a. P means any prime number and a square means any square number. So one square number is divisible by a prime number, means that number without square means 36 is a square number. So 6 square is 36. So 6 also divisible by the same prime number. So its proof we need to discuss. I think you got the theorem. Theorem says a prime number divides a square number, that means a square, which implies, which gives p divides a also. Okay. So the proof is coming like this. Let us take a is any composite number. This proof you no need to study. No need to study means a proof, no need to by heart it. Proof will not ask directly. Suppose a equal to p1, p2, etc. pn. That means a we did prime factorization. We studied every composite number can be expressed as product of its prime factors. How we got that? That day, last day we studied fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic says every composite number, any composite number can be expressed as product of its prime factors. So let us take p1, p2, etc. pn are the prime factorization of a. And it's not, it means it's not compulsory that p1, p2, etc. pn all are different. It may come repetition also. Suppose p1 is 2, p2 also can 2, p3 also can 2, and p4 can 5, any number like that it may come. Means repetition is possible. Sometimes repetition will come. So I told composite number can be expressed as product of prime numbers. So p1 is a prime number, p2 is a prime number, etc. pn is another prime number. Okay. Then what is a square? A square means this is a equal to p1, p2, etc. pn. So a square means p1 into p2 into etc. pn whole square. Whole square means into the same number. So p1 into p2 into etc. pn. A is given like this, means we took like this by fundamental theorem of arithmetic. We can write any composite number p1 into p2 into etc. pn. Then a square means this into this. So it is coming p1 into p2 into etc. pn into p1 into p2 into etc. pn. Okay. Then we can write it as p1 square into P2 square into P3 square into etc. Pn square. P1 into Pn, P1 square, P2 into P2, P2 square etc. Pn square. So we got A square equal to P1 square into P2 square into etc. Pn square. And what it gives in this theorem? If P, another one prime number P, divides A square. So we can take, let P divides A square. P divides A square. Then if P divides A square means P divides P1 square into P2 square into P3 square into etc. Pn square. Correct now? What I told? If P divides A square, P divides A square means A square is P1 square into P2 square into etc. Pn square. So we can write P divides P1 square into P2 square into etc. Pn square. That means P1 square into P2 square into P3 square into etc. Pn square divided by P is possible. When it is possible, see P1 square, P2 square etc. Pn square divided by P is possible means either we can cancel P1 P, or we can cancel P2 and P, or we can cancel P3 and P. That means this P must be one among this P1, P2 etc. Pn. Correct now? This P must be one among these prime factors. Is it okay? So P divides P1, P1 square, P2 square etc. Pn square means P must be one among P1, P2 etc. Pn. P must be one among P1, P2, comma etc. Pn. So what is A? A equal to P1 into P2 into P3 into etc. Pn. See, P is one among P1, P2 etc. Pn. So it is sure P divides P1, P2, P3 etc. Pn. That means P divides A. Got the theorem? Once more means from here. P divides A square means P must be one among P1, P2 etc. Pn. P1, P2, etc. Pn. So among that one should be that P. Then only it will cancel, otherwise it will not be divisible by P. Isn't it? So P1, P2 etc. Pn, its product is A. P1 into P2 into etc. Pn is A. So P is one among P1, P2, P3 etc. Pn, no? So P divides P1, P2, P3 etc. Pn. That means P divides A. Clear? So like this we will give the proof for this theorem. What the theorem says? If P divides A square, then P divides A also. Clear? P is a prime number. A is any composite number. Not only composite number, any prime number square also may come. It means 7 divides 49. 7 divides 7 also. 7 divides 49. So 7 divides 49 means 7 square. So 7 divides 7 also. Got the theorem? Then one problem is given like this. Prove that root 2 is an irrational number. Or simply prove that root 2 is irrational. We know root 2 is irrational because we can't write P by Q form where P and Q are integers. Isn't it? We need to give the proof theoretically. For that only we studied this theorem. If P divides A square, then P divides A also. To give we need that help for this proof. See, actually we need to prove root 2 is irrational number. Its contradiction, what is its contradiction? Root 2 is rational number. So let us assume to the contrary. Let us assume to the contrary that root 2 is rational. Actually we need to prove root 2 is irrational. Instead of that one we are just assuming, suppose root 2 is a rational number, what will happen? We can just continue with the assumption root 2 is rational. Okay. Since now we took root 2 is a rational number. And this method means we started with its contradiction, its contrary means actually we need to prove root 2 is irrational, its contradiction is root 2 is rational. So this method is calling contradiction method, means what actually we need to prove, its opposite we are assuming and we are following, and finally we will get a wrong information, then we will check why we got this wrong, because of our assumption was wrong, that's why this wrong situation happened. This way of proof means while giving like this the proof, we are calling it as contradiction method. So we are giving the proof for this one is by contradiction method. Okay. So root 2 is irrational number, to the contrary we assumed root 2 is a rational number. Since root 2 is a rational number, what we can write? Root 2 is rational means we can write in P by Q form, where P and Q are integers and Q not equal to 0. Okay. Suppose P and Q have any common factor, we can cancel it, and we can, you have to write here, if there are any common factor for P and Q, remove the common factor or cancel the common factor, and finally we can write root 2 is equal to A by B form. Okay. So this A and B now they don't have any common factor, we removed all the common factors. So we can say A and B, they do not have any common factor other than 1. 1 will be there for every number's common factor. So other than 1 there is no common factor. So those type of numbers we will call it as they are coprimes. Now A and B are coprimes. So whenever we are starting the proof for root 2 is irrational or root 3 is irrational, those type of numbers, we need to start, let us assume root 2 is a rational number. And therefore we can take root 2 is equal to A by B, where A and B are coprimes. The above step which I told P by Q, if there is any common factor we can cancel. Those steps you can avoid, no problem. Means if you are taking coprimes, means after cancellation only we wrote A by B form. Okay. So now we wrote root 2 equal to A by B, where A and B are coprimes. What is meant by coprimes? Coprimes means they do not have a common factor other than 1. Example, 5 and 6 are coprimes. Do they have any common factor other than 1? 5, its common factors, its factors 1 and 5. 6, its factors 1, 2, 3, 6. So only 1 are their common factor. Those type of numbers we will call it as coprimes. Okay. So we assumed root 2 is rational number. So we took root 2 is equal to A by B, where A and B are coprimes. Then see, if root 2 equal to A by B, I can write root 2B is equal to root 2 into B is equal to A, or A equal to root 2B. A equal to root 2 into B. Same thing only I wrote. A equal to root 2B. That means A equal to root 2 into B, just wrote from here. Then squaring on both sides. A square equal to root 2 square is 2, B square is B. Sorry, B square is B square. So we got A square equal to 2B square. Now see, 2 is a factor of A square, or we can say 2 divides A square. 2 divides A square. So we can write, from this sentence we can write 2 divides A square. Why? A square by 2 we will get B square. Okay. So 2 is a factor of A square, you can write like that, or you can write 2 divides A square. Clear? So now we studied a prime number divides A square means that prime number divides A also. See that theorem we applied now. 2 divides A square means 2 divides A also. Okay. What is its meaning? 2 divides A. A divided by 2 is possible. Possible in the sense exactly we can divisible by 2. A we can divide by 2. Clear? So 2 divides A. If you are not able to understand this word, you can use another way, means 2 is a factor of A. Like that also you can write. Better to use this notation, 2 divides A. So we got one statement, 2 divides A. When 2 divides A means A divided by 2 is possible. So of course there will be some C such that A by 2 is equal to C. Correct now? So we can write A by 2 is equal to some C will be there. So we can write A equal to 2C. See, 2 is multiplied to here. So A equal to 2C. So we can write A square equal to 4C square, squaring on both sides. This we squared. So we are getting A square equal to A equal to 2C we squared. We got A square is A square equal to 2 square is 4. C square is C square. Okay. Then see, A square means what? A square means 2B square. So we are writing instead of A square this is 2B square. 2B square equal to 4C square. 2 is a common factor in both sides, so we can cancel it. We are getting B square equal to 2C square. Okay. Then see, B square equal to 2C square means 2 is a factor of B square. Or we can say 2 divides B square. Correct Nada? B square by 2 is equal to C square, exactly getting. So 2 divides B square we can write, or you can write 2 is a factor of B square. Now I am writing 2 divides B square. How we understood 2 divides B square? We got B square equal to 2 into something. So 2 divides B square. And the theorem which we discussed before, a prime number divides B square means that prime number divides B also. Clear? Same way how we applied here, 2 divides A square, we got 2 divides A. Here 2 divides B square, we got 2 divides B. Means the theorem we studied, if prime number P divides A square, any number square, then P divides that number. Got it? So 2 divides B. See, this is the second statement. So we got 2 divides A, and from here we got 2 divides B. Actually what we got, 2 divides A and 2 divides B means from 1 and 2. 1 and 2 gives us 2 divides both A and B. That means A by 2 is possible, B by 2 is possible, or 2 divides A and B. That means 2 is a common factor of A and B. Isn't it? 2 is a factor of A and here 2 is a factor of B. So we got 2 is a factor of A and B. That means 2 is a factor, common factor of A and B. See, but what we assumed? We assumed where A and B are co-primes. What was co-primes? What was co-primes? A and B do not have a common factor other than 1. But now we got A and B is have a common factor, that 2. 2 is a common factor of A and B. Isn't it? So this statement makes a contradiction for the statement A and B are co-primes. Okay, so after reaching here 2 divides both A and B, you need to write this makes a contradiction for the statement A and B are co-primes. Okay, why we got like this sentence? Because our assumption was wrong. For which sentence the contradiction happened? For this one, we assumed A and B are co-primes. Since root 2 equal to A by B, where A and B are co-primes. So, if we are writing like this, we will get 2 divides both A and B. That means 2 is a common factor for A and B. This makes a contradiction that A and B, for the statement A and B are co-primes. So, our assumption was wrong. What we assumed? We assumed root 2 equal to A by B. So, our assumption was wrong. Root 2 is a irrational number. Clear? Like this we will give the proof. Okay. Same way, if the question is asked for root 3 is irrational, root 5 is irrational. I will give you one more example. Prove that root 7 is irrational. What we will assume? Root 7 is equal to some A by B for where A and B are co-primes. Co-primes. Co-primes is a new word for you. You didn't hear this word, co-primes. Co-primes means A and B do not have a common factor other than 1. Okay. Then what we will do? We will cross multiply. We will get A equal to root 7 into B. Then squaring on, you have to write here, squaring on both sides. A square is equal to 7B square. From this one we are getting 7 divides A square. Therefore, 7 divides A also. We got one statement. If 7 divides A square, we can write some C. There exists some C such that A by 7 is equal to C. Okay. So, we can write A equal to 7C. Again squaring on both sides. A square equal to 49C. 49C square. And A square we can replace with the 7B square. So, 7B square equal to 49C square. Cancel 7 from both sides, or 7 you take to down. So, it will come B square is equal to 49 by 7 C square. 49 by 7 is 7 C square. From that statement we can write 7 divides B square, and by the theorem we can write 7 divides B. Therefore, 7 divides B. So, this is our second statement. From 1 and 2 we can write 7 divides both A and B. This makes a contradiction that A and B are, contradiction for the statement A and B are co-primes. Okay, means we got A and B have a common factor 7. We assumed A and B are co-primes. So, that makes a contradiction. Why this happened? Because our assumption, you have to write, because our assumption was wrong. So, we need to write, means because our assumption was wrong. Then therefore, root 2 is not a rational number. That means root 2 is an irrational number. Got it? Like this, for every number you can write root 7 or root 11 or anything. The same procedure. This you need to study, very important. Clear? Then see. Some questions are coming like this. A number is given 3 plus root 2 is an irrational number. Prove that 3 plus root 2 is an irrational number. If it is asked for 4-mark question, first we need to prove root 2 is an irrational number. Means the proof which we discussed now. Then the coming, which means which I am going to discuss, those things you need to write. If it is 3-mark, only which I am going to discuss need to write. Clear? So, we need to prove 3 plus root 2 is irrational number. Let us take 3 plus root 2 is a rational number. Means on contrary, we can assume 3 plus root 2 is a rational number. So, we can write 3 plus root 2 is equal to A by B form. Okay. Any integer by integer form. Then do cross 3 you take to that side. So, we are getting root 2 is equal to A by B minus 3. Then you can write this one, subtract it. A by B minus 3 means A minus 3 into B, 3B divided by B. Cross multiplication method. I did cross multiplication for subtraction. So, A minus 3B by B. Okay. Now, see the right side. Here A is an integer. 3 is an integer. B is an integer. Therefore, A minus 3B will be an integer. Correct now? You need to write here A is an integer, comma, 3 is an integer, comma, B is an integer. Or together you can write here A, comma, 3, comma, and B are integers. Therefore, A minus 3B is an integer. So, we are getting numerator is an integer. Denominator B is an integer. We took here A by B, A and B are integers. So, integer by integer we got, isn't it? So, this side is a rational number since this is integer by integer. So, right side is a rational number. You can write therefore, A minus 3B by B is rational. Since these two are equal, means A minus 3B by B is equal to root 2. We can write root 2 is rational. Root 2 is rational. See what we got? We got root 2 is rational. Is it correct? No, but you need to write here, but we know root 2 is irrational. Okay, so now we got root 2 is rational. According to this explanation, we got root 2 is rational. But we know root 2 is irrational. So this makes a contradiction. Means we got root 2 is rational and root 2 is irrational. It's a wrong statement, isn't it? So this makes a contradiction. So our assumption was wrong. You need to write 3 plus root 2 is equal to a by b is not possible. That means 3 plus root 2 is a irrational number. Like this much proof only you need to give if it is asked for 3 mark. Clear? One more question. Four plus 5 root 3 is a irrational number. We need to prove it's an irrational number. So what we will do? We will take 4 plus 5 root 3 is a rational number. So let us take it as some a by b where a and b are integers. And 4 you take to that side, it will come 5 root 3 is equal to a by b minus 4. Cross multiply, a minus 4b by b is equal to 5 root 3. So we are getting root 3 is equal to a minus 4b by 5b. Now see the same sentence you need to repeat. Here a is an integer, 4 is an integer, b is an integer. Need to write in that sentence. So a minus 4b is an integer. So we got a minus 4b, 5 and b also integer, so 5b also integer. So numerator and denominator both are integers. So a minus 4b by 5b is a rational number. Therefore root 3 is also a rational number. But we know root 3 is an irrational number. This happens because our assumption was wrong. So 4 plus root 3 is not rational, it is irrational number. Clear?